Okay, so this is from Father Knows Something. Starts off, hi to the Father Knows Something crew. I, 31 female, am struggling with some emotions right now, and I don't know how to feel. I would love a fatherly perspective. I just got married on Monday to my fiance, 34 male, of 7 years. I've been so excited and planning this wedding for what feels like forever. I had tons of DIY projects, but of course, with food, venue, photography, etc., it still ended up being very expensive for us. Still, I felt like it was worth it for one day of true joy, and we both worked extra hours to pay for everything ourselves so we wouldn't have to ask for money from our families. However, my family is very religious. I was raised in a fundamentalist Christian household, but have since stepped away from that lifestyle. My now husband is, refreshingly, not religious at all, so of course, they disapproved. This is partly the reason we waited so long to actually get married. I've spent so much time talking them through everything and felt that we had reached an agreement. They knew our wedding would not be a religious one and that we would have alcohol and secular music. My dad was willing to walk me down the aisle and verbally affirmed the wedding and welcomed my husband into the family. So I felt safe to finally move forward with a formal wedding. So wedding day comes, we had a short ceremony and planned a more involved reception with drinks, dancing, games, fun speeches, and great food from our favorite food truck. As we made our entrance into the reception, I was so happy to see how beautiful everything had turned out. Everyone seemed happy and excited for us. Everyone except my parents, who were just sulking alone at their table. This should have tipped me off that something was brewing, but honestly, I just wanted to ignore them and enjoy our day. I had just sat down to eat. We were the first ones to get our food. The other guests had just started lining up when I noticed my mom and dad taking down decorations, like pulling centerpieces off of tables, removing place settings, taking down floral arrangements on the serving tables.
Right in the middle of all this.
Right in the middle of everything.
Okay.
That type of thing. So I paused to go ask my mom why they were taking things down. She waved me off that they were just tidying. I told her to stop. I hired people to do the teardown when it was time. She said okay and hurried me back to my table to finish eating. I was distracted then with our first dance and a couple of speeches. When I got a chance to really look around again, almost all of the decor was gone. Guests started leaving because ... Well, it was basically an empty room. This was less than an hour into our reception. My parents disembarked shortly after, and we were left with a deserted venue, 6 loyal guests, no decor, or food or snacks, a DJ, and alcohol. We made the best of it and had a tiny dance party in the giant empty room that we had rented for many more hours. The DJ and coordinator took pity on us and danced too, so we could get a few pictures. It was still fun, but the rest of the evening's plans, toasts, games, group dances, and photos were all ruined because everyone felt like they had to leave. I am so upset and disappointed that our expensive wedding was shut down like this. I'm not really sure if it was vindictive or if my mom and dad, who grew up doing church weddings, just felt like it was their job to do the teardown. But the fact that they seemed grumpy and were generally disapproving of our union makes me suspicious. Am I right to feel wronged here? Should I just let it go, or is it worth confronting them? I do have a history of letting my family pretty much treat me like crap, and I'm struggling now to balance keeping the peace and sticking up for myself.
Well, the reality is that thing is over, and those people cut it short. I don't understand how the parents were thinking to even why they would do it. I mean, I don't know if she's got a better clue under her parents what their deal is. You know, that they feel they have to literally give everyone the illusion that the party's over.
They wanted to ruin her day.
I mean, this is insanity.
This was purposeful.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, I just don't know what these parents were thinking.
They were thinking that their daughter decided to leave the faith and they were going to do everything they could to punish her. They might not stand up there and object, but they're sure as shit not going to let her get a happy day.
Well, I mean, if there was a problem, you would think there would be a problem when they were conducting the ceremony. Apparently, the father walked her down the aisle, did everything he was supposed to do, and everything went smooth in the ceremony. You know, what on earth would have people get up and start doing a teardown while people are getting up to go eat? I mean, this was going on as the people were in line eating. So go to her parents and say, what the fuck were you thinking? I mean, it's so sad that this happened, and she can certainly go call her parents out on it. It's not going to do any good. I mean, it's they already spilt the milk. It really is no different than going to a wedding and dropping the cake. What do you do? And the cake has been dropped. There's no putting it back together.
Yeah.
I don't get why everyone left.
I think it's honestly easy. I look at our live show we did in person, and I got off the stage and went downstairs to get my purse because we had to like get everything out of the green room, like our rehearsal get ready room or whatever it is. And so I got off stage. I grabbed a present from a couple that was sitting at the end of the stage that like brought me candy, which thank you guys so much. I don't know if I can say your name, so I'm just thank you for the candy. I've been snacking on it. It's amazing. But by the time I got downstairs, got my purse and came back upstairs, everyone had already kind of like left. And I'm like, oh my God, like I would have said hi to everyone that came after the live show. Like I would have.
But that's like events over. I'm talking like this is mid-reception.
So what I'm saying though.
People were getting up in line to eat, and these people are tearing the shit down as people are in line to get food.
But I think it's that crowd mentality. When you see a bunch of people leaving, you're like, I guess it's time.
But I don't get why the first people started.
I don't know.
You don't go to a wedding and like an hour in and think, I'm going to head out.
So
there's still alcohol.
But
there's still a DJ.
You guys, I know someone personally who this just happened to. I know someone personally.
And it happened this way?
Yeah. So on my sister-in-law, her side, she recently had someone in her family get married, and the bride's mom was upset with her daughter and literally went around to the wedding telling people, blah, blah, blah is acting like a bitch. You should leave. She went group by group telling people. So by the time that the bride got back out to her wedding, everyone was gone.
Unbelievable.
Well,
gone. And they spent over $35,000 on this wedding and had the same scenario with people gone. So maybe the parents walked around and were going to people like, it's over. We're tidying up. You can leave whenever.
Maybe that would make more sense.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, I would love to say, go file a claims action against your mom to pay for your wedding. And
I would.
And have another party. It's insanity.
Judge Judy would definitely pick this up. People's Court, they would definitely pick this up. And you might not want to be on TV, but they do pay for everything.
I mean, I would definitely say, I don't know how much, look, they ruined your day.
No doubt.
And I don't know how much you really want to, hold them accountable for it, because you might be a bigger person and just say, and I'm not telling you to be a bigger person at all. That's not where I'm going. But you might just say, I just don't want to get any more family drama and I'm just going to wipe this thing off. But they've totally destroyed your wedding. I mean, people, we have a bottle of wine we bought when you were, I don't know, born. And we talk about your wedding and cracking the bottle of wine and finding the bottle of wine and everything else. But I mean, girls wait for this day.
Yeah, I would not let this go. I mean, our listener, our writer asks, am I right to feel wronged here?
Yes.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
There was even a question like, maybe my mom was trying to be helpful, but like was this vindictive?
But you definitely have that. She definitely has to have a sit down with her mom. Absolutely.
Yeah, both parents. I think, the dad was a participant and they're both equally as responsible. And I think I 1000% believe this was vindictive, especially because of the fact that our bride went up to the mom when she saw her tidying up and cleaning and taking decorations and said, no, stop. We have people that are hired to do this when it's the time.
She did right.
And she continued.
She did absolutely right. So
this is 100% on purpose.
So let's put it this way. What does she do? Let's take a step further. When she goes to her mom And her mom just says, oh, well, yeah, we just thought it was time. And, oh, we're so sorry. Now what does she do?
They're done. In my eyes, they're done.
I mean, does she...
There's not a relationship here. I wouldn't be able to forgive this.
I mean, you cut your parents off out of your life at this point in time?
Yeah.
Or do you say, guys, I think you have some accountability?
I think you can offer them that chance to remedy this, but I do think it's one of those moments that you're not going to be able to get back.
I mean,
you can't have another wedding for the first time.
These people are fundamentalist, good Christians. They have to do the right thing. What is the right thing for them to do? They're to make their daughter whole. I mean, that's the way you put it. You guys got to do the right thing, Mom and Dad. You tell me what the right thing is. You destroyed my wedding.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what they say.
What is the right thing? And I mean, I would hold them, put the fire right to them and let them tell you what the right thing is. And then and every time they get the wrong answer, you say, really, that's the right thing? Now, I think in some churches, they have elders. But I guess the elders in this church would actually say, well, you guys were demonic. You had to be shut down.
Your husband's not a Christian.
And you're demonic and you're this and this whole thing. With your parents had an obligation to shut it down. They might even go that far. So
they might.
That's not the avenue to go. That's not the hole to go. That's, what do you call it, the rabbit hole? That is not the rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah. So something that's different about Father Knows Something is we do ask listeners when they write in an ideal outcome, and we ask for additional info. So ideal outcome for her would be to have my family recognize my feelings and start giving me a little respect instead of continuing to control me and belittle me. Realistically, it probably would be healthier to cut contact with them. This is what my husband has suggested, because I feel these types of situations keep occurring, but I don't want to overreact either.
I will say this. It is absolutely true. You have the control of your destiny in your life, and you have to take that control. So if this is the behavior that they're going to do, and they're not going to own up to the issue, and they're not going to...
This is on them. There is no doubt.
Because let's take it a step further. You have children coming, or maybe you guys want them, maybe you don't want them in the future, but if there is going to be children, your parents all of a sudden are going to be an influence on these kids, grandma and grandpa. And... you have something to think about, protecting your children and what behaviors you're going to find acceptable or not acceptable. And so this is a much more serious path to go down, to wonder, what are we going to do in that case? And that could be part of your conversation with your parents. When you have it, you say, guys, you totally disrespected the most important day of my life, that I was going to, celebrate the joining of my soul with my soulmate, and with that we are going to have a family. And you guys are wild guns. I can't deal with that with my kids. I got to make sure that the consistencies of my beliefs and what I want to do with my children and raise my children are going to be intact. You already failed that so horribly. How can I even think about involving you guys with this stuff? And answer me that, because you can't answer the first question, that you were wrong for doing what you did.
Yeah.
And so until you can get them to own up to that, how can I possibly allow you to be a part of my family in our inner circle? You failed horribly. And that is something that makes me think even more serious about, the cake that's on the floor.
No, and additional info, I have been in therapy for almost a year now, dealing with a lot of family baggage. A year ago, I would have viewed this situation as a me problem, and I really am still struggling to know where to draw the line. Which that alone makes me believe that she has dealt with a lot of emotional and psychological abuse from her parents. To ever question that that's a you problem, it makes me seem like they're going to be the type of people where she's not going to get far on a confrontation, but I would definitely confront them and say, you know what you did, this was really wrong, and I'm not going to have contact with you.
Yep.
For X amount of time until you can make it right to me, and whatever that is for you. But a boundary needs to be drawn.
Absolutely. I'm with that.
I was just trying to think I'm curious what the other instances are. And I'm also curious how you can start packing up all this stuff and not even someone from the venues like, oh, no, like, what are you doing, you crazy ass?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
That whole thing didn't make sense to me.
I don't know. I think like the bride and groom are very distracted on their wedding day. You have people coming up to you. You are trying to eat after not eating all day. So I can see how it would happen. I guess like my advice for anyone in the situation of planning a wedding, having a wedding, whatever, have a day of coordinator. Even if you don't hire a wedding planner, you should pay for a day of coordinator because they are masterminds of like dealing with uninvited guests, wedding crashers, any drama that comes up, any last minute problems.
Parents that tear down your wedding before it's over.
So like in this situation, if she would have had a coordinator, she could have gone to her coordinator and said, hey, I just saw my mom tidying up. Can you make sure you keep an eye on her? And the day of coordinator would have then taken control of the situation and like handled it. And there's amazing stories I've read of day of coordinators kicking out wedding crashers and ex-girlfriends and crazy stuff. And someone wore a white dress and the wedding coordinator kicked them out. Like they deal with everything.
This wasn't tidying up. This was tearing down.
Yeah. But obviously there's nothing that can be done now. And this day,
gone.
It's
gone.
It is what it is. But I think just for knowledge for anyone else out there that may have guests that are terrorists.
I have never in my life ever experienced going to an affair where somebody was tearing down the affair at this time where people were getting up to go eat. And go back to my table and my table's gone, basically.
Yeah. I mean, if I personally...
Never in a million years.
You wonder what you would do in that situation if you would just be like, oh, well, I guess I missed a memo. Or if you would be like, hey, why are you cleaning up? I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have just gone with the flow because you don't want to disrupt anyone's wedding day if that's like what they decided to do.
I would have thought I blacked out and I just woke up. I mean, shit, that was great shit that I didn't even remember drinking it.
Oh my God. Maybe it was...
What did I miss?
God, what's that green stuff? It's, you see the magic fairy.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my God. Me and Lauren tried it in Prague. Absinthe.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh my God, it's crazy shit. You like, if you drink it, you like sometimes see this magic green fairy. It's like the absinthe fairy.
Guys, Dad has not lived life yet. Apparently, I've missed all this stuff.